also known as Angola. I was a 16-year-old when I was tried and convicted. Overnight, I went from being identified as a kid to being identified as an adult. But I was lost between these two worlds. I no longer belonged in the juvenile world because I was no longer accepted as a kid by the court of law. Yet by the same court of law, I was not considered an adult since I couldn't legally do things as a man could do. I was truly lost. I was also facing racial discrimination during this time in my life. Prior to my crime, 2 white defendants who committed the same crime I committed received 8 and 10-year sentences, while I received life plus 25 years without the possibility of parole. And as the white 20-year-old male was sent to a satellite prison, I, now a 17-year-old 10th grader in high school, was sent to the bloodiest penitentiary in America. As soon as I reached Angola, I went from reading about slavery in my history books to becoming an actual slave. My first mandatory job was literally picking cotton. While the black prisoners spent 8 hours a day of hard labor in the cotton fields, white prisoners primarily worked inside doing jobs like maintenance and laundry. This is still in practice today. When I was first told to pick cotton, I refused since I knew it was wrong, and I was put in the dungeon for this action. I continued to refuse, which quickly led to my solitary confinement. The vast majority of prisoners in solitary confinement are black, about 90% at Angola. It's hard to describe the feeling of being in solitary confinement, but I think it best equates to a monkey being locked in a cage, trying desperately to tear down the walls to keep from going insane. You don't want to lose your sanity, but it happens all the time when you're placed in extended lockdown. Many prisoners actually commit suicide in the cells or leave extended lockdown with severe mental health issues. I was locked in solitary confinement 6 times during my incarceration, all for nonviolent offenses. I was locked in a cell for 23 hours a day with no human contact. My longest time in extended lockdown was 13 months. I was released from prison two years ago after a law had changed regarding 16-year-olds receiving life sentences. And I thank God every day for my second chance at life. I'm here today, though, in hopes my story can help lead to additional changes in law and policies that eliminates racial discrimination within the American criminal justice system. Thank you.
All right, so we're sitting in front of Mr. Terrance Winn. Now they can see you on our social media platforms, man. Once again, how you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, bro. Like I said, I'm honored to have you in the building. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy when, you know, I was able to connect with you to do this. I didn't know what I was going to get. And I was like, man, this is huge because I don't believe that people realize the significance of you and what you've done for this city. So, man, before we get started, man, for those who don't know this young man, this is Terrance Winn. A lot of people who, if you know him, we call him T Winn. You know, so, man, you here now, man, and, you know, like, so we're just kind of talking on the radio prior to starting. So Man, how are you doing once again?
Oh, I'm great. Good spirits. Feel real good. I'm great.
Okay. All right. So I have a graphic on the screen, and before we talk about pipe, I want to actually give you give you a better introduction. Like I said, when I did my research and I actually got to even learn more about you of information that I didn't even know about you, but I think the whole world needs to know how important you are and how appreciated you are. Um, those everyone that's watching and listening, I've had the honor of helping to produce a podcast, Learn to Listen, that comes on every week. He's on the wall. He's seen his picture on the wall. And he walked in. He laughed. He looked at it. I was like, man, I was honored to be there because what you're doing, it's you don't hear about nobody else doing it. Like I reference Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and like civil rights leaders that's doing stuff. I think you're doing stuff like that. But once again, like I say, prior to this, I want to give you flowers. Okay, Terrance Winn was just 17 years old when he was sent to Angola and Louisiana, one of the country's most infamously brutal prisons built on the site of a former slave plantation. As his first job as a black teen, he was ordered to pick cotton. If you got to watch the video prior to the show starting, he kind of talked about his experience with that. And he said, as soon as I reached Angola, I went from reading about slavery in my history book to becoming an actual slave. My first mandatory job was literally picking cotton. So while the black prisoners spent 8 hours a day of hard labor in the cotton fields, white prisoners primarily worked inside doing jobs like maintenance and laundry. And this is still in practice today. Now, once again, for what I'm reading, this is in 2022. You correct me if I'm wrong. So it's 2025 now. So as far as the information provided, you think it's still true today in 2025?
Yeah.
Okay. So, he was able to tell his story, and he told it in Geneva, Switzerland, where he testified before the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. Now, as a part of a Southern Poverty Law Center delegation, he told the community how at 16 he was sentenced to life in prison without a chance for parole, but two white defendants who committed the same kind of crime were sentenced to 8 to 10 years. And he told of the horrors he endured during his 30 years in Angola, including being locked in solitary confinement 6 times, once for 13 months for nonviolent offenses such as refusing to engage in slave labor. So just to paint the picture for everyone that's watching and listening to T-Win, man, I don't know how it make you feel to kind of rehash this and talk about it, man. But once again, man, tell us about Terrance Winn. Something that we don't know about Terrance Winn. And then you can tell us about the story.
Something you don't know? Something you don't know. I was a real good athlete coming up. I was good at football, basketball, baseball. I almost played tennis. So I was really, really good at those sports.
Oh, wow. And did you play these sports at Green Oaks?
Yes.
Now, I never knew Green Oaks had a baseball team.
No, during that time we did. Now they do.
Okay.
But during our time we did.
You were just saying as far as your particular skill, your skill set.
But I played it like in the spar leagues.
Okay.
I played it in those leagues that they had around the city.
Okay. So born and raised, Cooper Road. It is elementary up until that delicate age 16 when your life changed.
Yes.
How was life prior to 16 years old for a young Terrance Winn?
Man, life was really, really good. When I lived it the way my parents expected me to live it, man, life was good because I had it. I had it to where anything I wanted to become, I had the family support to do it. So only thing I had to do was just go to school, graduate, go to college. I didn't take that path. And at the time that I was just into the streets, it was fun. And that's kind of crazy. But I understand and I can identify with the kids of today in a way. Because the kids of today, they don't care about dying or anything. So they'll take death or anything. We didn't want to die. We wanted to live. But in the expense, if it would take someone else, we didn't really care about that part of it. But life for me then, uh, just just to be known in both areas. In school, I was known as a good student, and in the streets, I was known. And so, man, for a kid, it's intoxicating to be living out here in these streets and to get the respect that the older people get, and it's on the same level because you're doing these street things. So people got to understand the intoxication that glory that brings to a person. It's like you just thrive in it.
Okay. So, man, okay, we're gonna kind of zoom into now, and I want you to tell us about Pipe. How did Pipe come about, and what's the significance of Pipe to you?
Pipe came about actually while I was in prison. I got a member of the group, Fred, who used to walk around the yard, and
And this is why you were incarcerated.
Yeah, this is while I was in incarceration.
Okay.
So we'll walk around the yard, or we'll sit in his office because Fred was a part of a club in prison, so he had an office. That means you can go and get an AC and just sit back and just chill. Well, we'll be walking around the yard, and I'll be like, man, Shreveport ain't got nothing. New Orleans got everything. It's a little bit in Baton Rouge, but Shreveport don't have anything. Man, when we get out, we got to do something. We got to change it. And so Pipes was thought of then, and it became a reality once I made it home. And it continues to be what it is because Pipes, the P stands for priority. Man, I went to prison at 16, and those were horrible. It was a horrible experience. So I don't want to see another kid go through that. So it's a priority for me to talk to kids or try to show them a different route so that they don't have to go through it. Because what they don't see is you're a kid now doing this crime and you're going into an adult facility. Who you gonna lose during that time? We never think down the road. I lost my mom. I never thought I'd lose my mom while I was in prison. I lost my dad. I lost friends. But we don't think about that. And we don't think about how as those years progress, people get old. People start falling off. We just thinking about the now. So it's a priority to give you this. My intentions are to, man, just make sure, man, you got this. And my intentions are in the best spot. And the practical exchanges to exchange all these bad habits for better habits, to change the way you think now to a better way of thinking. So that's Pipes in a nutshell.
All right, man. So it's a term that I've seen you coin with since I've known you. And, this is something that I personally want to know about. I see a lot of positive information. And it seems like the thing that you lead with, street educated.
Yes.
All right, man. So that's always been significant to me because, I'm from Queensboro. I stayed on the Cooper Road for 16 years. And I never really knew what it meant to be street educated. So can you just kind of talk about that? I know it may be self-explanatory to some people, but for people who may not know, how would you define that term street educated in your own words?
Okay. In my own words, street educated is, mostly when you hear streets, it's always these negative connotations with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put educated with it, it should change it. But it don't. A street educated person is a person that could actually sit in any room. It can sit with the elites that went to Harvard, Yale, and it can sit with the common people that dropped out of school. It's an incorporation of both avenues of life that we have. So it's a positive thing more so than negative. There's no negativity with it. It's all about, man, you educated. You can change who you are because you came from this negative spot that everybody denoted as. but you made that negative into a positive, and we don't look at the transformations that we have as a people. How many people that came from the ghettos and made something of themselves? It's just all the negativity that overshadows it. So when you street educated, it means, man, you can fit in. You're a chameleon. You know, you can channel every energy in a real positive way.
Okay. All right. So once again, we kind of going back. I know we kind of bouncing to where you are now, where you've been, but I want to make sure that people realize and give you your flowers and accolades that you deserve because of what you've been doing since you've been home. It's been nonstop. Like when you got out, you hit the ground running. You know, we get to see the merchandise. You know, we get to see graphics. People don't know, like I said, this man sends me positive quotes every day since I've known you. We exchange contact numbers. I have a positive quote or graphic that you send me every day, man. And I want to say thank you because, you know, like we all go through stuff. And like sometimes you need that, man. Like so I see that in the morning, you send it, and like it touched me and it actually motivated me to keep doing what I'm doing, man. So, you know, reintroducing T Winn for people that are watching is Terrance Winn, man. Tell us some of the things you've done in the city, man. Like you don't hear about people from Shreveport sitting in front of the United Nations. Can you tell us some of this stuff, man? Tell us some of the stuff you did, man. It's time to pop your shit. Excuse my language. The T Winn, that's what we want to happen. That's what we want to happen.
Okay. Man, I've spoken before the United Nations 3 times. So to pop my stuff, like you saying, man, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King ain't never did that. I left prison and I have spoken at the highest level of life. Who can envision it? No one from my city has ever done it outside of me. So me to pop my stuff is to say that my city don't even much embrace that. My city overlooked that and give accolades to someone that ain't did nothing compared to what I have done. I don't walk around thinking about that, but I walk around thinking about that.
Right.
You know, it's like I've spoken before the United States Senate. And not only have I spoken, everything that I have said is used to make changes in laws. From the United Nations, every time the United Nations face the United States about things, they use Terrance Winn's testimony, a Shreveport native. Now, Cory Booker is spearheading something to bring a change in laws. He used Terrance Winn's testimony. Had I been anybody else in this city, every award show that they give, they'll give me an award. I have never been invited to come to a local award show here. You know, it's like, I don't get that. So, man, I have done stuff continuously since I've been home. I don't never talk about that. You know, this is the first time. It's so much stuff that I just left the courthouse on behalf of them closing down schools, trying to fight against that with the Rita Grisby now. You know, so I'm a part of things that's trying to make progression happen within our city. But I'm gonna be overshadowed for some reason now. I know the reason, and I'm not trying to even much throw slurs at anybody. But we know, and people in our city need to recognize it and understand that, man, when a person is really doing stuff, I mean, maybe we hate people that's incarcerated. It's like, for 2 weeks, I offer free bus rides to go to Wade, because we think about Angola. Mr. Jeter and them got things going to Angola. So, but what about Wade? Right there, free bus rides. Nobody talks about the females that's incarcerated from Shreveport. I just offered a free bus ride to go there. No one signed up. So it's like you could talk all this negative stuff about a person that's doing all this positive stuff, and then you'll just be like, I don't want to mess with him because of this person said this about him, but I ain't never showed you what that person said. That person just said that.
Right.
I've showed you me in all vulnerabilities, in all actuality, in all genuineness. I have never, ever done anything but try to help people. I have never harmed anyone. You can say whatever you want to say about me, but look at my work. Look
look at everything I have done, and judge me off of what you see about me,
We
not
got
judging
receipts.
me off of what someone else tell you. And that's the bad thing about what's going on with me. People are trying to erase me because of what someone else says, but not because of what I'm doing. Because even when they said it, I'm still gonna come through. Because you ain't stopping me, because I'm doing God's work. It's like Moses' brother. What his name? Moses out the Bible. What his brother name is? What's Moses' brother name? Dang. But if people understand the story of Moses, and if we understand this, if we understand religion as it is now, in a monotheistic way, us becoming believers in one God came from Moses' brother. He was a king, but they erased him out of history. So you never hear people talk about Moses' brother. But that's the reason why we believe in one religion right now, because before him, everybody was believing in hundreds and hundreds of gods. When you study all Greek mythology, all that, you're gonna understand that they was believing in so many different gods. But this man made us as a people believe in one God. So that's why in Christianity, Islam, and everything, you believe in the principles of either Jesus or Allah. But you don't believe in people being with them, but you erase them out of history. And it's the same thing that'll happen here. We'll listen to those so-called gatekeepers, and we'll close the door to people that's really doing a lot of good stuff for our city. And I just so happen to be one of those people.
So for those that are actually watching, I put a graphic up, and we got the 2023 Peace Summit that you actually spearheaded. I appreciate you for allowing Social Ghost to come and actually capture that moment. How did that event come about? And like I said, that's one of many things that you mentioned that you've done that I don't believe that has gotten recognition. I think at that summit, you had people that were actually at odds. You got everybody on the stage and they're actually kind of able to talk about it. Like you brought peace in front of everybody. We got to all see. Dominique Ben was there. She actually moderated it. So how did that come about, T. Winn?
Man, it's me being in prison and seeing things that needs to happen. And I'm like, man, when I go home, I'm gonna do this. So when I came home and I'm really paying attention to a lot more to what's going on in the city, I'm like, man, it's a lot of killing going on. It's a lot of young people dying. It's a lot of crime. And we need to do something to combat that through our musical people. And so I just brought it into fruition about just saying, I'm not a talker. I'm a doer. So I'm not just finna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do what I'm telling myself to do. Okay. So I just thought about it and just seen so many kids dying, and I just came with it.
Okay, so let us talk about the responsibilities of hip hop. This another development that you came up with, man. What inspired it? What motivated it?
When you just listen to our music nowadays, man, we dance to our own demise. We dance to us killing each other. We dance to us using degrading terms. We embrace that in a party atmosphere. But what are the responsibilities of what this music is saying to us? I look at Banks and Banks' son, Baby D, was murdered. And I'm at the trial. And these was like 16-year-old kids that murdered Baby D. So while they was in the car, one of the guys that was in the car, he testified and he said, they was asking in the car, how we gonna get him to the car? And he said, man, play his music. So they played doo-wop, and it made Baby D drop his guards, and he walked to the car and he killed them. So now I teach this course. I teach this course because it's a curriculum, and I teach it. And I always use that story because a kid listen to their music, and it'll make you drop your guards. And you're at war with other people, and you will lose your life from not just paying attention. Just because you playing this music from my neighborhood, if I'm at Vulture, I ain't finna come to your car. I don't know you. But so it's responsibilities. But the biggest responsibility is to be able to separate that music from your reality.
Yeah.
And so that's what it's about teaching.
All right, man. So before we talk about learn to listen, for those that are watching, like once again, y'all, we are sitting in front of a modern day Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. And I was kind of talking to T. Winn prior to us starting. I was like, man, would you consider yourself an activist, or would you consider yourself an organizer, or would you consider yourself and I can't remember the other term we use because I know an advocate. Like what it like how and I'm trying to group them all together. I wish there was just like one word for that because you are the epitome of all those things. And I've been able to actually witness you talking to prisoners on the phone, helping every day. While I was in your presence, we sent up the podcast. You had people call you, hey man, can you help me? And man, with all the time in the day, how do you find time for you? Because you're always helping people. When we see that term of actually being a community advocate, you do it all the time, 24/7. Right before you came to the podcast, you're still helping us. Man, like, what can we do to help you, T. Winn?
I think what y'all can do to help me is, like if I throw an event, come. That'd be my thing, man. I'm throwing an event for you. Most of the time it's free of charge. Man, come. It don't cost you nothing just to come. That helps me because it shows that you appreciate everything that a brother is doing. Like I'm speaking about the bus rides.
Mm-hmm.
People to say that they love their people that's incarcerated. I'm giving you an opportunity to go see your people free of charge, and you don't take that opportunity. But people to get on the social media and talk all this bad stuff about me, because I'm trying to help your loved one, but you ain't. But you got all the negative stuff to say about me. But what does that say about you? Because when you break it down and look at it, man, my obligation isn't to your family member. My obligation is I got family members in there. My cousin Lil Randy's in prison with life. But I almost put Randy before I put some of the people.
Right.
And then your family members will get on there and talk bad about me because somebody else is saying it. So now it's your chance to say something, and it hurts. I don't say nothing. So because when you're doing what you're doing, you got to have the thickest skin. And so I don't never get back on social media and respond to people. I just keep it moving because what I'm doing is for love. And what I'm doing is by the grace and the blessings of God. And what I'm doing is because, man, I took a life. So I'm doing it because of Jeff also. That's a person I went to prison for killing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I shouldn't have took his life from him. So, I'm doing it for all the things that I'm saying. So to give back to me is, man, just show up. Because I'm going to show up for you. Man, you can call me anywhere. I'm coming. One thing about me is I'm reliable. And I'm always going to be there for you. But how many people be there for me?
Right.
It's like it's something that'll hold you back. It's like we just had a comedy show over the weekend just to make people laugh. Man, people don't want to show up. It's like, man, just to make you laugh, make you have a good time, make you unwind. But people won't even show up. So that's my take on it.
Wow. And like I say, for those that are watching and listening, you're hearing the testimony of someone that we should be rallying behind, who has a story to tell, can tell you about the story behind bars and actually tell a story about what's going on, in the purpose, moving in purpose, like he just mentioned. All right, man. So one thing that you have going, and you actually have been going, you've been doing it consistently every week this year, man. Tell us about Learn to Listen podcast. Sorry, yourself and Manigo.
Okay, yeah, Learn to Listen is a podcast between me and Manigo. And Learn to Listen is about, man, we bringing you guests that you can really learn something from. If you listen, you can learn something. with us, it's never about negative stuff. But I understand people love negative stuff more than they love positive stuff. So maybe we should just get on there and talk about who having sex with who or who just had a fight. But no, that's not who I am because, man, us as black people, we have been degraded enough. But we study add to our degradation, our degradation. We constantly add to it. We glorifying it. Just like I said about the music. So we glorifying seeing people fight. We glorify in all of the negative stuff that goes on. So learn to listen is about, man, I'm trying to, I bring a lawyer on there.
Yeah.
Just so he could give you free game. One thing you got to do is just call in and just ask him a question. And he gonna answer it as best possible. But again, people won't even much respond to it. You know, it's like, man, I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to harm you. Man, I don't ask nobody for nothing. But people that draw things, I give away free clothes. People donate clothes, and I give them away. Man, I have asked the public one time for some money. That was when Mr. Percy Gary got arrested. And I ain't trying to jump subjects. I'm just
opening
up.
This is for you.
Yeah. So, Mr. Percy, I asked, Percy, bond was $30,000. This is me. I don't know Mr. Percy. But during this year, I meet Mr. Percy. Two black guys that got killed. 2 black teens that got killed. Mr. Percy witnessed it. White police officer, mad. Break the man's nose. Man, 60-some years old. Slam him on the ground. So I'm trying to make his bond for him because he got a raw deal and he hadn't done anything. So I asked everybody for a donation. I think I was able to raise like $100. But I paid Percy bond in full. I gave $30,000. That was his bond. And I got him out. So, you know, learn to listen is about things that I'm telling you about because I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to game on you. And that's what people draw these pictures and make it like I'm trying to game on you. Man, I haven't gained one thing from helping people. I haven't gained 1 cent. So if you're listening to bad stories about me, they bad. Because listen and understand. I'm before the cameras. How many times have I ever asked you for something? So how can I steal something from you? I ain't never asked you for nothing but one time. And you didn't come through then. So I made it happen. You know what I'm saying? A guy just turned himself in the other day on the charge. Before he turned himself in, he came and said, T, man, could you do what you did for Percy to get me out of jail? I get that a lot before people to turn themselves in. So, me doing good. People will say, oh, he ain't the police. But I don't want the police to kill you. Someone be like, man, don't let them kill you, man. Go on, do and we'll just try to make sure you get out. Mm-hmm. But, you know, learning listening is about learn something, man. Listen to good stuff instead of listening to bad. Because that's what we do as a community. We break one another down. If you look at everything, Martin Luther King is the only one that you could say died from the bullet of a white person. Malcolm died from bullets of blacks. You know? Sir. And it's our own race that killed us, even if it's not physically. Just to talk bad about it, you murdering it. You murdering the character of a person. But that's us doing it to us. You gotta worry about nobody else doing that. It's just us.
Yes, sir.
So we got to learn to listen. Learn to listen to the right stuff.
Man, and for those who tune into this show, he's had Judge Shonda Stone. He had a judge come on. He had countless people that actually have been in the system come in and tell their stories and helping to build them up and to really, I don't want to say rehabilitate back into society, but actually tell the story and being able to explain their side of the story. And in most cases, when you see these people that come on, they were unjustly incarcerated or went through these things and, you know, had to have their life to change. So, like, going forward, I know here at Social Ghosts Incorporated, T. Winn, we're going to make sure that we check in with you to make sure what's going on. So if we can't be there in numbers, we can help promote in numbers and support any way we can. And once again, I apologize because I know I could be doing more to support what you've been doing. Like I said, you never asked. And like I said, we're sitting in front of those who may not know Black history. We're sitting in front of Black history. On countless occasions, if you watch this podcast, they're speaking and telling history. They're telling you about what life's like in prison. I think this is a podcast you definitely have to tune into and watch. And like I say, Terrance Winn, he's always giving inspirational messages. It seemed like every day on live, he go and kind of give a testimony and tell a positive message about, I've never seen anything negative come out this young man's mouth. So like I said, once again, we appreciate you, man. This is Before the Vision. Is there anything, if anyone want to reach out to you, what's your preferred method of contact for people who want to reach out for advice? Like I said, I know people have a way of getting in contact with you that may be in custody or incarcerated. For family members who want to kind of just kind of talk to you, what's your preferred method of contact?
318-901-7288. My number is open. You can call me. You can call me practically at any time. Even if I'm asleep, I'm going to wake up and talk to you. I might tell you and just call me back in the morning, but I'm going to wake up and answer your call. I'm not going to let your call go unanswered. That's my preferred method, just through calling me. My social media handles is Twinn, TEEWINN. On Instagram is Street_educated6. On Instagram is Twinn. So, but man, the phone, I'm always just one phone call away. If I can help you, I'm going to help you.
All right, man. That's our show. Once again, I really appreciate you. Shreveport, Bossier. We sit in front of a living legend. Someone is actually making a difference. Flowers are everything. People don't ask for things, but like you said, you have certain things that you see. You have events, you see people, but you have people that's done stuff, and I'm not trying to, talk down on anybody. I'm not the one to do that, but you have people who are actually out here doing the work daily that's not getting recognition. And it seems like, like I said, I don't want to give any airtime to any negativity, but, we know what it is.
Yes.
So, once again, I'm Darien Willis. You are tuned in to Before the Vision. You get the call, you up. We about to get up out of here.